Hi there, this is Marnie Melrose, also known as Midas Marnie, and I have a very special guest on our show today, Fereshteh Forough of Women's Annex, and I have just been so inspired by what they're doing, and it's something that's really close to my heart, women's economic power. My mother taught me growing up, even though I came from a very wealthy family up in Canada, she told me that you can do, have, or be anything that you want. And I believed her. And I am the way that I am today because I believed in her and what she taught me. And so anything that empowers women to have better economic freedom, I am like all for, all behind. And so Fereshteh, I always start off our show with, how did you actually get started with Bitcoin? What was your first introduction? What did you think of it at first? Did you get it right away? Did it, just tell us your story for our sec here.
Sure. Thank you very much, Marnie, for having me in your show. So, based on what we're doing with the foundation and like the things that we are like involving with women in digital literacy, especially in Afghanistan. So, one of the main reasons that we really wanted to help women was how we can help them through education to be empowered and be financial independent. So, there were a lot of like different issues that maybe later I mentioned about, like how we used to send them the money in Afghanistan based on their activities, but we were facing a lot of difficulties and how we faced a lot of difficulties. So it was a time that we were thinking, let's think about like any other payment system that really can help us to not only like speed the process of sending the money in Afghanistan, but also our users can learn something from that payment system. So it was, I remember it was February 2014 that I was like, the whole team, we were really thinking about what can we like substitute about the payment system. And then all of a sudden we see a lot of like amazing news about Bitcoin and like in general digital currencies. So then we tried to study more about digital currencies and how it can help our process. And we really found it fascinating and amazing, especially in a way that it really improves the way that how we can help the women in Afghanistan through our project.
That's fabulous. So when you first heard digital currencies for the first time, what did you think? What was it like? What was your first reaction right away?
Oh, I mean, I was like, digital currency. It was like digital and a currency. I was thinking, which kind of currency is that we refer to that digital? So I thought that maybe, I mean, the first thing was like, is it tangible? Can I touch that currency? Like how I can deal with that currency? So it was a question for me. And then when I studied like and learn more about Bitcoin, it was really a cool concept because like nobody can like, and the cool thing about it is that we really like, it's a direct communication between you and the person you send the money, and I really loved it, especially that I came from like a place that there are a lot of like bureaucracy, a lot of like paperwork and like the old system. So it was like really a cool idea how like this digital currency works.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so what were you using before to get what was the old way before Bitcoin that you were being able to move the money around? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really like, it was a really headache or like a very complicated scenario because our users in our platform, they get paid by the content that's shared with us. So usually our users from Afghanistan are the girls in the high schools that we provide for them the computer media lab so they can share their content, either it's blog or video, and we pay them for the content. So, for example, the first problem was that because the girls are under age of 18, so they can't have a bank account. And also PayPal does not support in Afghanistan. So we had to send the money to my friend Roya, who was in Afghanistan, in her bank account. And then she took all the money and then carry the cash by herself and pay all the users in person, which was always like a security issue also, because we really didn't want that other people understand that Roya is carrying, for example, this certain amount of money, which is like big, and then make a problem for her that it makes a difficult procedure. So it was how we used to do that. And I mean, if we wanted to pay the users by wire transaction or even using Western Union, the fee for transaction is, like you really don't want to send the money. You prefer not to send the money, because then at the end of the story, nothing remains for the users to get the money.
Exactly, and it breaks my heart. I just recently went to the International Money Transfer Conference, and I learned a lot about how money travels throughout the world and all of the mechanisms behind it, right?
Yes.
And the fees, just with the standard bank, it's 12.86%. And then if you use the money services provider, it's 7.68%, right? So money services company like Western Union, something like that. And yet in the countries that need it the most, like Afghanistan and Africa, it ends up being 15% for the countries that actually need it the most. And that's just infuriating.
Yes, it is. It's really like heartful, and also you will see that how much money using these transactions will be reduced from the original money, which, for example, for some developing countries, especially Afghanistan, which the economy level is not that high, and all the families, maybe they are below the average, so it's really makes sense for them in case of transferring the money to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us, how did the Women's Annex start, and how did you become involved with it, and what are you hoping to achieve? Because I just think it's wonderful.
Thank you. So on April 2012, we started the Women's Annex Foundation with Roya, Mahbub, and Francesco Rulli together. So our idea was to how we can empower women, especially the girls in the schools, because there are certain problems for girls outside of the school, especially in case of using internet cafe, because first, they cannot pay the fee for using the internet, and second, there are a lot of social and traditional issues for them going out and using the internet cafe. So we thought that how we can provide them a safe place which they have to go and no worries, and they don't have to also pay money. So that's we started to build computer media labs for schools in Afghanistan, for public schools, and we already built 11 computer media labs with 2 separate media centers for girls in Herat and Kabul, Afghanistan, which we connect 50,000 girls through our networks. And the idea was to not only empower girls through education and digital literacy, but also how we can enable them to make money. And that's how we start teaching them use social and digital media, and also how they can make a profile in our platform, and then they share the content and just get paid by what they just share with the audiences in our platform.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And so tell me what sort of give me an example of what sort of an impact that makes on these girls. If they didn't have you, where would they be, and how has it made their life better by, working with the Women's Annex?
Sure. The point is that the point about this project is that we really thought about the security of and safety of the girls also, because it's important also for us that whenever a girl come online and share their stories, we don't want to make a problem for the person. So that's how we came up with the concept of avatars, and they can design their own avatars. They select any kind of avatars they want, and also they can select any nicknames, so they can publish whatever they wanted. And also thinking about if the girls have a computer at home and they can come online, they can make money by being online, and that's really something which is for a country like Afghanistan. I think it's very amazing, because of the traditional and cultural issues, some families really don't let the girls to go outside and work. So how we can make the work opportunity for them inside the house, so they are in the house, and they're they make the family also happy because they're in the house and they're working something interesting. It also really like we could see that a lot of girls are really love the project, because especially in case of like now having their own Bitcoin wallet, because they're so happy that they have something that nobody can control that, and they just know themselves that like how much money they have, so they kind of like thinking about like they're in power and they can like control their own financial situation as well.
And that is just so important, because I think that people, when they're empowered, you know, you just think, you know, for yourself. When you're in a situation of more control and more power, I think that you make better decisions, right? And
Exactly.
yeah, and I used to see a Navy SEAL, a younger Navy SEAL here in San Diego, and some of his friends were telling me, and you could tell me if this is true, that the women who are educated, who are actually sent to school and are educated, their likelihood of sending their sons into the Taliban or something, training camps, is much, much lower. Is there truth to that?
Of course, education is the key for people's awareness also. Like whenever you educate people, they understand their rights. So definitely for women in the countries who are involved with conflict and like with some certain sort of violence against women, it's really important like how women can access to the right education, because it's not only like a tool for them to like to achieve a certain intellectual level, but also they will really like try to know their own rights, and then they not only they can defend themselves, but also I think the other important aspect is that they can build an online community and they all can support each other, which is really important. If something happened to one girl or woman, then another women also can support and raise their voice, so which is really important, I think.
That is awesome. I am just so happy that you guys are doing that, because to me it's like we are slowly changing the world from the inside out kind of thing, right? You start
Yes.
where you can, like maybe we can't, you know, deal with the wars and everything, but maybe we can help educate women, right? And maybe we can
Yes.
empower them more, and then maybe, you know, they will have their sons do different things, right? And then
Yes.
maybe they will want to go into business and start a business instead of starting wars, or not starting wars, or but you know, continuing in wars, right? And so we can have
Exactly.
more passive, that, and that's what I love about Bitcoin. It's like that passive revolution, right? Passive revolution,
Yes.
even against, you know, countries, even our own country here in the United States. You know, when they start making bad decisions, when we start to take the power back ourselves, then we can actually make a real impact, so that, you know, people can understand that they do have their own power and they can do things, and they
Exactly.
keep being pushed down, right?
Yes. Yeah,
That's so,
exactly.
so awesome, so awesome. And so, tell me about the other side of it as well, which is what are the girls actually, um, what are they putting on social media? Tell me about that other side of it.
Sure. So definitely we don't want to make trouble for our users. So we don't really want them to put some controversial stuff like religious or political stuff,
Okay.
because in our platform we moderate the content before it publish. And also they can write about everything they want about like social, art, music, anything that happens to them. Actually, what I found interesting like recently is that I keep reading like some of the blogs that the girls they publish in our platform, and they try to like write stories and using metaphors which represent the real life of themselves, but they want to like tell it in another way, which is really amazing that they want to like make a public awareness, but in a way that they really don't want to say that it happens exactly to me, but they want to just show the reality in another faces, which is really amazing that how they want to spread this message. So I mean, we are teaching them in the schools, in the media labs that we have, how they can use social media like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, so they can share their own stuff in these social media platforms, because we believe that this world currently is not about like physical boundaries. If you have an internet connection, within a second you can travel to every part of the world you want, and you can share your message within a second. So a girl from a very remote area of Afghanistan using the social media can share their stories, and everybody can understand what's going on there.
Exactly, and I mean, really, we're all global citizens, right? And
Yes.
it really does infuriate me, all of these border issues. You stay over there, I stay over here, and you can't get your peanut butter and my chocolate, and yet together they actually taste better.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes.
So I consider myself a citizen of the world. I'm Canadian, but I lived down in New Zealand, and then I lived in London, and I lived in Bangkok, Thailand. And it helped me really to understand the way that people live in different countries and the level at which they live, right?
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating to see, and anything that can help people to get into a better place, no matter where they are in the world, I am totally going to champion that. Absolutely, 110%.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's the same. It's the same for me. Like I was born as a refugee in Iran, and then we moved. My family and I we moved to Afghanistan, and then I went to Germany. I got my master, and then I came here to the United States. So during this whole journey, I faced with a lot of people, and I really learned that social media and technology really can help you and empower you in the right way. And this is like the concept of like global village and digital citizenship. It doesn't matter where you are, but it is important how you can use the technology in the right way to spread your message.
Oh, I love that word you just used, digital citizenship. So a lot of people, I've been reading lately about, I can't remember the name of it. It was just on Facebook the other day, but it was like, I think it was BitNation or something like that. Imagine like a global citizenship, right? I would
Yes.
I would really love to have a day where we all have, human rights. We're able to go anywhere in the world, do the things that we want to do, and all have a better quality of life. And this is one thing that I think that is so key to people to understand with Bitcoin, being that it's a digital currency, and the fact that it, gains value over time. And the thing is that you think of, Bitcoin today is $485 US dollars, right? Today,
Yes.
maybe I have some Bitcoin and it raises up to $500. But the exact same thing is happening for that person in Africa, right? Who had some
Yes.
Bitcoin and their value just went up. And so the value really, it floats all boat, right? The
Yes.
sea rises and it floats all boat. And so Bitcoin is kind of like a global IPO, is what I think of it as, right? And
Exactly. Yes.
yeah, it's a global IPO. And the thing is that normally people that are not accredited investors, right? They can
Yeah.
never be involved until a company actually goes public, right?
Mhm.
But Bitcoin is public. It always will remain public. And now, anybody can get in for like 10 cents. Even you can buy 10 cents of Bitcoin, right? And if the
Exactly. Yes.
value of Bitcoin goes up, well, your 10 cents is now 15 cents, right? And
Yes.
so if we understand how that actually impacts all of the unbanked of the world, right? When that price
Yeah.
fluctuates, especially when that price goes up, it impacts everybody favorably, everybody all over the world. And so why wouldn't we want to do whatever we can do to make that currency go up in value for everybody? For everybody,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's why I'm so happy you're doing what you're doing, and you know, donate to you guys when I have the time to, and not the time, but the money to. Sometimes with all of these projects that I have going on, it's both time and money. I have to take the time to do it, right?
Yes.
And so yeah. And so what could I do, or what can we do to help you? Because I always like to ask that. Like when I'm interviewing a company, I ask them, what do your clients look like, so that they can kind of self-identify when they're watching our show, and they can contact that company. So what can the people who are watching this, what can they do for you to help your company to grow and to make a bigger impact on the world?
Sure. I mean, I would like to just first thank you for all the people who have supported us and make it possible. And I mean, this is important for any non-for-profit to have a kind of financial support to like achieve what they wanted and their mission. So it's really important for us that if really people understand about our mission and what we are doing and try to help us, either it's a very like small amount, but we believe that a very small amount can make a big changes in the life of everybody. So we really like love to people help us in case of financial. But beside the financial, we love to see if there would be any Bitcoin association, organization, or company that they're interested to help us to really like adopt and implement Bitcoin more, especially in our media labs, or even though inside of Afghanistan, we really would love to see, or any kind of educational program that they wanted. So this is just all about empowering women in developing countries like Afghanistan, and we really would love to have any kind of support that people want to help us, and we really appreciate, because it really make a big change in the life of a lot of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I so appreciate you coming on the show today. You know, like I said, I'm just so inspired by you.
Well, thank you very much for having me in your show. It's a pleasure to be in a part of the Bitcoin community, and I really enjoy since I joined the Bitcoin community. I met a lot of inspiring people, and especially you, and then I met a lot of people, and that's really inspiring, and I'm really thankful of all people in Bitcoin community which really have been supportive of our cause and really just try to inspire us and encourage us. Thanks.
And you know, just kind of a little thing to carry on from that, what I really like about the people in the Bitcoin community is that there really is a sense of community, right? And people helping each other.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
haven't seen that to the degree, and especially with regards to like the financial degree, right? To like I've had these deep conversations that I haven't
Yes.
had, deep financial conversations about the way that the money moves around the world, that I just don't have in regular day life, right? With people just walking along the street. But I think that they're really important discussions to have, right? And I think that all of us have really had...
Sure, yeah, definitely.
You've had those conversations too, haven't you? Fereshteh? Are you there? Oh no, we may have lost her. Okay, I guess we lost her.
Yes,
there she is, yay! What did you say? Oh, we're losing you! Oh no! Okay, well, we will end it there. And I am just so glad that she came on the show. And if you guys would go to Women's Annex. Oh, there she is. She's back. Are you back? Nope, she's gone.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yay, you're back! We kept losing you. So have you...
Sorry, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with the internet connection.
Oh, that's okay. Have you had those conversations?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, whenever I go to different places, I just try to explain what we are doing, and especially about the Bitcoin. And even though like normal people, they are like, wow, that's like something very like great what you're doing, and then they are so amazed by how how like this is so fast and like the transaction, and this is so amazing how like Bitcoin is really like a currency that can help a lot of people in developing countries. But they really like interested, and whenever I reach any person, it's like, oh, do you have a digital wallet? If you don't, you can just make it in a second. And then I try to explain how wonderful is Bitcoin. But I really love the concept of digital currency.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, let's wrap it up for today. And again, thank you so much. As I said, go to, is it womensannex.org?
Women'sannexfoundation.org.
Foundation.org. Okay. Go there,
Yes.
help those guys out, and, just love what you're doing. So happy. Bye.
Thank you very much, Marnie, for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.